screen thing out the way because I don't know why it does this. And oh, it actually didn't do it. I wonder if it's because we started late. I wonder if like the gray screen thing only happens when it's open for a certain amount of time. All right, muting myself and let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, there's just been a mishmash of things that have happened since FanFest. Rumors about an Xbox release because of some rating system over in Brazil, which we'll laugh at for 3 minutes and then move on. As well as some news that came out on April Fools, as well as April Fools jokes themselves. So it's actually a ton of random stuff. We're just going to discuss that for this week's show with AR Zivia next week, so be sure to tune into that. But anyway, we need hosts for that, and I'm one of them, Michael Mr. Happy Pope Romo, and just joining me on his lonesome this week because I failed to secure a guest, Sly, aka Slythefox, aka Sly, aka Greyfox, aka you, my boy Blue. You're all alone this week, Sly.
Am I? I mean,
everyone is here with us.
Yeah. I'm not so lonely.
That's okay.
Great.
Good.
Great.
How you been this last week? How you feeling like now, a couple weeks out from FanFest with all the news that we've gotten?
All the news. God, funny. I'm good.
I felt the sting on that one right there.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a jab right there.
All right. I guess I know how you're doing after a couple weeks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well,
can't wait for news.
Yeah. All right. That means you're waiting for Dragoon drop abilities. Got it. All right. Well, before we start the show, we should do our normal start of the show reminders, sponsors, giveaways, whatnot. So, of course, State of the Realm sponsored by SteelSeries. For those of you who haven't been aware of that for some reason, we do monthly giveaways thanks to them. They provide one giveaway, all the rules, all the regulations, the prizes available. Those are all available in the SteelSeries giveaway link. So if you're watching here on Twitch, go to last week's YouTube video or just wait till this one comes out and then go to the description and enter that giveaway. Also, a non-sponsor, but in case you missed our announcement last week, NVIDIA provided us with 4 GeForce RTX 2060s to give away. We'll be giving those away every 2 weeks. So 1 week from today will be our first winner, and then 2 weeks from that day will be our next winner. So if you haven't entered that, that's also in the description of our State of the Realms for the next couple of months. Be sure to go enter for that. And thank you, NVIDIA, for those giveaways. We'll be thanking our Patreon sponsors about halfway through the show. Expect it to be a shorter show this week, probably, Sly, yeah? Yeah, we got all the hype stuff out last week, all the controversy out last week.
Did we?
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's things we could totally dive into. Okay, with that, Sly, I'll let you dictate the first thing we talk about then, because clearly you still have some thoughts you want to get out about some of the stuff that we talked about last week. It's something from my interview, which we really didn't talk about last week because we were covering with everything else. It is? There's something from that? Okay, all right. So Sly wants to start with stuff from my interview when I visited Japan. Sure. Which thing do you want to start with, Sly?
Well, let's start from the beginning. I mean, really, honest to God. And I'm glad you did it, Happy. And thank you so much for always doing this whenever you get a chance. Your interview probably was the best news we got out of FanFest. Meh.
I mean, you contributed. I asked you for a couple questions. You gave me one of the questions. I reworded it a bit, but I
saw that you reworded it because it sounded like I came off a little bit harsh, which I can agree with.
Sly, listen, coming off a little bit harsh is nothing new right now in Final Fantasy XIV. That's you're par for the course as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. All right. But yeah, we can start from the beginning of the interview.
Oh, you just want to go over? All right, sure, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know you wanted to talk about the whole interview. Sure, I'm down. Cool. I'll talk about myself. Full narcissist. Let's go. Sly feeding my ego. I like this. Let's do this on the show more often. Let's just talk about this interview every week. All right, sure. So you want to start with the answer in regards to why we got 2 different races, 1 gender each, instead of 1 race with 2 genders each.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what about... I'm letting you dictate this because I didn't plan this for the show. I asked you here at the beginning, so I'm totally down to let you run this part.
Okay. Well, let's compare the answers to what he gave in 2013.
Going back to the old interview again. I like it. Did we do that?
Again,
Did we
I
do
had
that
to.
last week? Yeah, we did that last week.
Yeah.
Too. Okay.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
All right. So you asked, many Western players were surprised when it was revealed that Hrothgar and Vieira would not have both genders available, especially after the efforts the team went through to provide more options with Miqo'te and Roganin in 2.0. Why did the team decide to do 2 different races with 1 gender instead of 1 race with both genders? The timing of the game launch, the races need to have each gender counterpart for ARR. When I took over ARR, I wanted to fill the missing gender to make those races seem complete. What is different now compared to then? After multiple expansions, the situation isn't the same as when we released the base game. My answer will be quite long. Okay, starting there. What's different in terms of the situation?
Well, it's what he goes on to talk about a little bit later. There's how much more gear there is in the game now means that when you add something. So have you ever started working on something like building like a chair or a desk, right? And you're like 80% through, right? And then now all of a sudden you have to put something else on that you were supposed that you need to put on at the beginning, but you haven't. But fuck it, you're not rebuilding the desk. You're not going to go back and rebuild it all. You're just going to try to fucking fit it in somewhere and make sure that it works. That's basically what this is.
Well,
if you're 80% through building the desk, that's fuck it territory.
No. I mean, if I know how to fucking build a desk, I can just rebuild the fucking desk.
But all that time.
Right.
No one wants to rebuild the desk when they're 80% through it. That's a lot of desks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just there's so much armor now that when you add a new race, you have to think of every piece of armor you've ever outfitted to the existing jobs, go back and make adjustments so that they fit. That's why Vieira and Hrothgar and some of the other interviews they're saying won't even be able to wear all the headgear in the game right from the get-go. There's going to be some pieces they're not able to wear, and they're going to gradually fix that as time goes on. It's because of the demand of making sure all that gear actually fits a different body or a different head or any of that.
And this kind of feels like if people haven't seen this interview and they're only taking what's been said from FanFest in general at face value, then like they don't have the full reason. And even if they, again, it goes back to what we said last week. From a lore perspective, the lore thing was an excuse. We all know that. The lore thing was an excuse. I can understand the lore excuse if you have stuff to back it up. If it's just lore, I understand. I'll take that. But if you're just trying to use lore to cover this up, then it seems a little bit shady and people are going to be pissed about it, which they are. Even still, with that, alongside this, the real reason, even with the real reason, I don't think people are going to be happy.
No, that's me.
Great show, everybody. So thank you so much for coming out for Stay of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy.
You walked into that one. Normally, I walk you into it. You walked yourself into that one. Okay.
Oh, God.
All right. So it's not even just the armor. Chat brought up there's also animations for all the skills. There's, of course, the actual race and its appearances, which all are just the base work before you even get all that other stuff done.
Right.
It's just there's a lot of things. I think the lore thing was kind of just like the lore says this anyway. It wasn't really we wrote the lore that way.
It was an excuse, and it is partially true, but again, Miqo'te. So you kind of shot yourself in the foot on that one. Yeah. So again, I can take it if it's actually true, and don't try to cover it up using lore.
I mean, but if it's already going to be that way, because here's the thing. The lore, when people say, oh, there's a lore reason, I'm like, they wrote the lore. Like Fusion said this, I was on the thing. They wrote the lore. You can't just be like, it's not like they went to bunnies in real life and said, well, there's no dudes, because trust me, bunnies fuck. So there's like no way you can avoid that. All right. That if there's anything a bunny is known for, it's fucking. So trust me, that's not based on real anything. They wrote the lore.
Hold on 1 second. I'm putting that down on the list of things I thought I would never hear in State of the Realm. There's one thing, bunnies fuck.
Yeah, there you go.
Keep going.
Good. Yeah, so it's like now, and then we also don't know the lore for Hrothgar. We don't know why we can only play the males, and we could assume maybe it'll be something similar because they clearly exist. They just didn't design them, or didn't, they're not in the game. But it's like, I don't know. I just have a hard time being upset about any of this stuff. I just kind of don't care. I
don't care either.
All these reasons make perfect sense to me from a design standpoint.
Right. I can accept it, but the majority can't. There is outrage. A fire is still going on in Reddit. Like,
it's less of a fire, and it's less of a fire and more like a matchbook now.
Nah, yeah, it's kind of dying down.
Yeah.
I still think Urianger and Stoll are there waiting for the fire to die down, waiting for the Warrior of Darkness to come back, waiting for him to come back as a Hrothgar.
Yeah. Like, wow, you look different.
You look different. You changed.
I see Warrior of Darkness is a rough life. It's not even the only thing, because the big thing here is that they pretty much, I guess I should say, Yoshida in the interview specifically notes that they wanted to meet demands of, there's 2 different demands they've gotten in terms of races. A beast-like race and Viera. That's it, just outright Viera. So Viera, they already have a female model to base off of. That's easy. And then Hrothgar, they're like, well, we want to make something that's more beast-like, but we can't do 2 races, 2 genders. So this is the compromise. And I'm going to be honest, if you threw bunny ears on a Hrothgar and just called it male Viera, I guarantee you for some reason people would just be totally okay with it somehow. They'd be like, oh, that's a male Viera. Wow. Now I know what they look like.
I don't know about all that. I think that, again, that going back to the whole mixed race thing. Oh, God. I in terms of aesthetics, I've kind of lauded 14 over its aesthetics and how the game looks, how the characters look. If something looks flicked, I'm going to call the game out for it if it looks flicked. So will the community. So no, it ain't that simple.
I think a lot of people would just be like, all right, that's it. That's what they look like now. And then they'd be like, wait, I want to hear what Matsuno has to say about it. Be like, yeah, no, that's absolutely it. Because imagine they'd consult him at some point. They'd be like, yeah, listen, we want to make males. And then he just goes, yeah, I don't know. Do whatever you want, I guess. I've never thought about it really, but here you go. Dude, I can't wait to see Hrothgar on certain races. Hrothgar Samurai is gonna be dope. All right. There's an artwork that I retweeted during FanFest that was a VR dancer and a Hrothgar gunblade or gunbreaker, and that looked cool as shit. So I'm already excited. Hrothgar dancer.
I mean, Viera dancer makes sense.
It's in the trailer.
It's in the trailer.
Hrothgar monk, dude. If I go with Hrothgar, I'm turning off the fist weapons. I'm Emperor's New Fisting that shit. And I'm just fucking punching him as a Hrothgar. I'm down. See? I'm looking up on the bright side of these things.
Yeah. You have to. You hear that, community? Look on the bright side.
Yeah. So it was a compromise. And in the second question, he says he's not opposed to adding them. I've seen a lot of people throw around this theory that it's that he had to take this idea to his superiors, and is like, oh, well, you can only make 1 gender of each. And then he's like, oh, if I make it 2 different races, it'd be easier to get clearance for the other gender. And I'm like, y'all got some conspiracy shit y'all need to tuck away, because it's still pretty much the same amount of work. It just might play a little bit better in the boardroom. I've seen that theory thrown around a lot on Reddit in particular. I don't think it's all that complicated. Personally. Which would you have preferred? Would you have rather gotten one race, 2 genders, or 2 races, 1 gender each?
I think people were fine with the standard one race, two genders. So Viera, male, female. I mean, Hrothgar was only a rumor. And I think people would have been content without it, even being around. People would have lived. Like, people would have not lost their shit as much if there was Viera male, female, rather than Viera female, Hrothgar male. I can live without a Ronso. I'm fine.
See, I don't like calling them Ronsos, because other than the one Kimahri they showed, they don't look like Ronsos. None of them look like Ronsos outside of the Kimahri.
Yeah, you have to do a little bit of work to make it look like a Ronso. Yeah.
Apparently, there's even an alternative that looks a lot more canine-ish as opposed to like a cat. So
more like a Lupin.
And then why didn't they just add Lupin? You already had Lupin. They had to make a bunch of stuff fit for them already. So some of the work was already done. Although I still, like, Ethis has opinions about the faces of Lupins. Maybe they felt the same way. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I saw a lot of people asking for a beast-like race. I've seen it a lot. Like, before Viera, everyone's like, well, obviously Viera. But other than that, I would want this. I feel like it's...
I mean... Yeah, people have been talking about Lupins for a while, like ever since the beginning of Stormblood. Hey, when we're gonna get Lupins in game? Might be 5.0. Nope. Thundercats.
I think with Hrothgar, maybe they need to make them more beast-like, and that kind of response may be more warranted. Because right now their faces are beast-like, but their mannerisms are not. Like, we've seen them running, they, like, hulked over, and I want to see them get on all fours and fucking sprint like a real beast race would. It's a lot of work, but I would love to see some shit like that.
I feel like there'll be a little bit of pandering, sort of, kind of.
I mean, they're lion people. Like, I can imagine a lion person.
So were the Thundercats, but you don't see them crawling on all fours except Snarf.
Well, then we get Snarf.
He's not even a cat.
Fuck it, we got Snarf. I don't know, like, I guess if you're gonna make a race that is more beast-like, I guess their mannerisms reflecting that would be, I guess, icing on the cake, in a sense.
But if you're
Viera is pandering. Well, you can't complain Hrothgar, like, running on all fours is pandering. Viera is literally pandering the race. And you know it.
I'm not gonna disagree. I'm just saying.
You're just not gonna outright agree either.
No.
Oh man, I don't know. I was okay with the answer. I do hope they get the other genders down the line. Like, I want everyone to get what they want in the end. I just can't spend my energy caring. I just can't. I have fun doing other things.
There's more shit to be worried about.
I'm not gonna race change anyway, so
exactly, and that's why I'm not too pressed over it. I understand the frustration. I'm not pressed. I get where you're coming from. And the thing is, like, half the people who are mad, like, are you really going to change races?
I'd like to also point out, there were plenty of people who said we weren't getting male Viera. I was not one of them, but I recognize that a lot of people had already resigned to that fact. So we're looking at, of the people who were excited for Viera, it's not everyone upset that it's male. It's like this demographic that a bunch of people who are already okay are okay with it or were already expecting it.
Right. Like, when I saw all the footage and everything, and it was just like, no males, all this Destiny's Child bullshit, no males. Like, you're gonna have to come to the realization that maybe you're not gonna get a male Viera. No, we're getting male Viera. No,
I was so convinced, man. So convinced. I was like, they'll never not do that again. Look at 2.0. There you go. That's what you go. Hey, Haps, what did you say? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't care about new races. So.
Me either, because I'm not going to change. Neither are you. Exactly.
So then the third question, Sly. What's your curiosity about the third question?
Oh boy, this is funny. His response was funny. The reveal that Dancer was a ranged DPS caught a lot of players by surprise as well. Why did the team decide to add another DPS to the game as opposed to a new healer? out of curiosity, why was the community generally expecting it to be a healer?
I mean, so you want to know the weird thing is? I feel like most people would generally just ask OCP, why didn't you make Dancer a healer? Which is ironic considering his question was, why did people think it would be? Because that's the thing is, like, I didn't ask, why isn't Dancer a healer? I said, why a DPS for this expansion and not a healer? I wanted to know why, not why Dancer wasn't a... Because why is Dancer not a healer is a very different answer than...
Yeah.
Why didn't you add a healer? Which is really the core of everything. And, yeah, you know how many people quoted that in the Reddit thread and said, I thought the same thing? Why does everyone think it'll be...
Exactly.
But it really doesn't have to do with Dancer as much as it's just I thought too.
Everybody
I was 100%
yeah.
convinced on two things that I was wrong about.
Man, that Hap Jesus is taking a shot this
That's
year.
why I've never said 100% in the past, and now I did. It fucking bit me. All right. I'm just saying. So yeah, they just talks a bit about tank balance. He says for the healers, like the core answer is just the identity of the healers is too divisive and it needs to be fixed because this whole pure shield thing is not working.
Wait, but and this is, the enraged community. But the tanks aren't balanced. Hell, healers aren't even balanced.
Actually, I would argue against that because with the data that we do have, healer representation is pretty spot on. Even with White Mage being the generally non-meta healer, it's still included in a pretty fair portion of all the clears that are out there. And tanks
Healers
too.
aren't
I
even
don't see
balanced.
anyone
Why the
really
fuck
give a
do we
shit
need a
about
fourth
that.
healer?
Sly, I feel like you're not even upset at the announcement. You don't even care about the announcements.
I'm not upset
you
at this.
Dragoon. You literally can't be upset. You're like, oh, if they don't get rid of
the only
Pearson.
healer is a fucking White Mage.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
I'm not upset. The fuck. It's just everybody else. And I'm kind of like, I don't agree with the whole, healers aren't balanced. I agree that it'll get stale. I agree that healing will get stale due to not having a new healer for 2 expansions, unless something happens. I agree to that.
There's not going to be a healer in the middle of the expansion. Sly, I'm going to say it right. I'm 100% certain.
You're really going to go 100% on this one. Okay.
Well, I got to go 0 for 3 on this one. I'm 100% certain there won't be a healer before 6.0. And it especially won't be Geomancer. I want to be as on the nose of my old predictions versus how wrong I can set myself up to be in the future. I'm just saying. Throwing on the bets. Yeah, it's here's the thing. This answer is so contingent on the results from the media tour / live letter. Because that's when we'll get our first idea of how much of this statement has actually come through to fruition. Because they said they were balancing the healers, and that was a reason in 4.0. Didn't work out. They're doing it again. People are not happy with the excuse a second time if it happens in 6.0. God help our souls.
Unsub!
I mean, people yell that every 2 weeks. The loudest people yell that every 2 weeks. And then they stay sub, so who cares?
Right. Yeah, who gives a damn?
Yeah, realistically, who gives a damn? So we'll wait for that's it. We just gotta wait for the healer changes. I'm more anticipating the healer changes. There's 2 things I'm looking at the most. Believe it or not, neither of them are Monk, because I'm pretty confident Monk has gone pretty well outside of a few snafus at the beginning of 4.x.
All right.
And then 3.x us being designed like shit because Dark Knight was like, hey, that thing that everyone likes you for, I'll take that. Machinist. Because as far as the range DPS role is concerned, most of them feel as if they only have one job. And they're not getting a third, they're getting a second.
Right.
So that's a pretty big deal. And the other one is the tanks, because they named this whole main tank off tank thing.
My main curiosity is not really job wise, it's role action wise. Still, what are they going to do with the whole role system?
Yeah. I mean, there's some obvious deletions there, but I mean, they said the whole system's changing, and this is the third time. Like, at the role action thing, like going from the class, the cross class to the role actions. I can't say one was better than the other, because they're both just, here's a bunch of things you need to function, and now choose 5 of them. It's like, okay, I'm always going to choose these 5 almost every time. It's like,
never mind, here you go.
And now here's all 10. There you go. Oh, never mind, no more. Here's all 10 of them. It's like, why bother, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just build it into the jobs. It just doesn't make any sense. Dude, everyone's saying Monk will get Fist of Thunder. God. And then we'll get another tackle mastery for lightning tackle. Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Fusion in chat. Remember, guys, Stormblood is going to have less buttons to push.
It did for a while. Then we got all 10 of our role actions. There's so many things that we have to wonder about. Summoner's a big question too. Can their opener get even longer?
Wait, how long is their opener again? Like time wise, not even button wise. How long is it again? I forget. I think I had a time a while back. Somebody told me the time for it. Yeah, a 2-minute opener. God damn. Jesus.
Dude, I already told Larry it's gonna be super Demi Bahamut, but you have to summon Bahamut twice before you can do it. There you go. 5-minute opener. Done.
10-minute long rotation. The rotation is the entire fight.
Well, in Ultimate, you get to do like a rotation and a half. Then.
Right.
Perfect. All right. So that's it. That's where is that. What about, is there anything in the rest of there that you wanted to talk about?
No. I mean, well, my question. Thanks, yeah. Let me.
No, there's nothing else. Just that. I'm done. To be fair, I guarantee you that's when most people stop reading, is after the third question. Like, all right, that's it. I got my answer.
All right, that's it. Yep. The Eureka series in Stormblood has received a lot of feedback from various players around the world. The Baldesion Arsenal in particular has been the focus of a lot of players' feedback in the most recent iteration. With the confirmation of new exploration content in Shadowbringers, what changes might we expect for the way public dungeons are handled? Again, he phrased this so different from what I actually wrote. Because
you want me to read what yours actually said? Here,
I gave examples. I was like, okay, there's this.
The implementation for Baldesion Arsenal is seen by some as sort of gatekeeping. Something made for public access has been gated within the community for some good and some bad. Examples would be groups shirking those, not the ability, like the act of shirking. Yeah, not the role action, to be clear. It's another reason why I changed that word, because it would be very confusing. Those who have sniped a portal in, or people on the outside intentionally failing the expedition support fate. Yes, as time goes on, more and more people will find it accessible. In regards to the future content similar to Eureka, Baldesion Arsenal, will implementation be similar, or will there be changes made to keep difficulty similar and allow more accessibility? I changed that. I was like, I can't ask him that. That's what you're asking is I know exactly the answer I get to a question like that. I know I know what's the right.
What's the answer?
The answer is actually somewhat similar to the one I got, but much shorter. Mm-hmm. It's the first sentence of the answer I got with no follow-up explanation.
Of course, we'll make adjustments.
That's it. That's the end that's the end of the answer. If I ask yours,
yeah, of course, sure.
We will make adjustments in the future. You can't be so aggressive, Sly. You gotta let the man talk. You gotta let the man come to his own conclusions. That's how you get the most information.
Look, I'm not asking about erotic roleplay, so I take that as a fucking win.
Sly, the fact that that's a win is not as proud as you make it sound like, okay?
No, that's a fucking win.
Sly, you know why it's not a win? Because the only way it's a win is if you were at some point considering doing that, okay?
No, never.
then it's not a win. You're just a human being. All right? Not being, but you're getting there. Okay? You gotta start at being. At least it's not pineapples.
At least it's not pineapples. No.
Listen, they'll make changes. It's been pretty clear they were going to make changes. I was hoping to get a deeper dive, but it's probably so far out that they can't talk about it yet.
Right. But I just wanted, I wanted explanations on, and I should have asked for an explanation on why it was developed in this way. Because, again, you put the label public, but it's not really public.
It's absolutely public. We made it not public, or we tried to.
And you give that much freedom to us. You give us freedom to take away other people's freedom.
That's true freedom. That's true freedom. I'm just saying. We were allowed to make a choice. And besides, those who did the whole, try to organize groups, pugs, right. They invited people who were in the, hey, please join the Discord so we can organize these and make sure we get as many wins. Some groups were like, hey, fuck off. Those are our portals. We'll ban you. We'll report you and get you banned. Right. But most people were like,
that's one of my main concerns.
Get in here. Hey, what are you going to do, man? People are people. Right. It shouldn't have been that way. I have
access to this. I want to give this a try. No, the fuck you're not. Oh, there's this portal. Why the fuck did you go in it? Hey.
It just shouldn't have been designed like that in the first place. It should have been designed like that. I agree. Right. As someone who sat through 4 days of dealing with portals, right when Baldessian Arsenal first came out, I agree. It shouldn't have been how it was designed. I would never ask for it to be designed that way. I still think
they should have just designed it with pre-made in.
Yeah, I agree. Public doesn't have to mean. I mean, public should mean anyone can enter at any point. It's not in a separate instance. Right. But I agree, it doesn't. It shouldn't be the way it was. What I always envision is, how Hydados is kind of wide open in a sense. There's not even little coves or anything. I always imagine you don't have to make a public dungeon this huge 56. You could have smaller scale ones and larger scale ones. What if there was just an enemy, and when, a group of however many people, a party goes in and engages it and they kill it, and now they have entry into the public dungeon and nobody else can enter that public dungeon until they're done. That's pretty much how Baldessian Arsenal works right now anyway. Other people can't go in while another group is running. Bosses won't spawn anymore. It's pretty much reserved. But it's easier to manage on a smaller scale when you have this kill a boss to get entry thing, and then you can shout for a group, try to make that group, and then go in with the smaller people. It's kind of like maps. Yeah, fuck it. It's like maps.
Yeah, we'll take that. As Mal brings up, as bad as the emergency mission was, and fucking diadem, at the very least, the whole instance could clear it regardless of compositions.
We don't talk. Listen, emergency. Don't use the words emergency mission and clear, because you needed a tank for each of the things. You needed a minimum of 4 parties.
You weren't going to have a fucking tank.
Yo, are you kidding me? It was hard enough to get my fucking miners to be like, hey, the emergency mission's spawning. He's like, yeah, but there's this rock in here, yo. You think that was not regardless. Emergency mission was probably even worse in regards to composition because it didn't fucking scale down. Even Baldessian Arsenal scales with the number of people who are present inside the arsenal. I've had a 13 million health AV and a 19 million health AV. And yeah, you're going to want, as literally every party in BA, you're going to want a tank. You need at least a healer. It's not like a crazy strict. You could bring 5 healers and three tanks in one of the parties if you really wanted to.
Right.
But you have a set minimum to get people alive through there. I'm just saying. Emergency missions were a good bit worse. Emergency missions were also, if anything went wrong right off the bat, that's it. The whole thing was done. If one of the bosses got loose and all the ads ran to the center, you were fucked instantly.
I think there was a situation where that happened, but they kind of wrangled him and pulled him back. Yeah, I've never really had that issue in an emergency mission.
That's because you didn't do them.
No, I did.
You did.
That's
you
what I'm
did
saying.
them a couple of times. You weren't
I'm
like
not gonna do that
running
shit
them
consistently.
constantly.
You're asking me to do that shit consistently? Really?
You can't do something twice and then be like, well, in my experience.
No, this ain't the case of don't threaten me with a good time. Threaten me with a fucking better time than that. Shit. Like, please. Dear God. I'll do 4. Like, 4 is what I did.
That's another thing with emergency missions. Dude, you know how many days I went into Diadem in a row and never saw a single one even spawn? It was bad. It was not guaranteed. It was... And there was a lot of gatherers who didn't want to join. Emergency missions.
Fucking pterodactyls, though, man.
And I don't know. I don't know how many times I did emergency mission, but I know I only ever beat it the first time. After that, it was just a shit show every fucking time.
Yep.
I just think doing these things on a smaller scale, changing the entry, that's where we're gonna see. That's where we're gonna see it evolve. That's where I hope to see it evolve. Anything else in the interview you'd like to discuss?
No, that's pretty much it.
That's it. Nothing. None of the Blue Mage stuff. Nothing about Eden. Nothing else.
Right.
All right. I'm just asking, making sure. I hope. Yep. Speaking of maps, dude, I hope we get some more fun. I hope we get slot machine maps next. We've got a roulette wheel. We've got a choose your door that also has a higher or lower card game involved if you get the hidden one. Now we need slot machines. We need fucking pachinko. That's what someone said. A pachinko treasure map. And it drops down in the thing, and whatever it lands in is what determines the wave. Y'all, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the pachinko of Uznair.
So Square Konami partnership for Uznair?
No, that's for the slot machines, yeah. But not for the pachinko. Actually, I don't know who makes the pachinko machines in Japan. There's a lot of them, but I think
they do. I think Konami does. A few of them.
Dude, I'm ready. Yo, the Price is Right map. You just spin the wheel, try to land on $1. If you go over, you get kicked out. Wheel of Fortune, dude. There's so many good ideas for Uznair maps.
Now you're telling me that the developers for Uznair just watch a whole lot of fucking game shows. That's all.
I don't see it, or they gamble. One of the two.
Yeah, it's either Game Show Network or just Las Vegas in general.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm down for that. Okay, well, Sly, I didn't expect to talk about that today, but thank you for bringing up my. I didn't want to talk about my own interview on the show. It's like, well, I mean, I didn't plan on it because it's like, oh, great, we have to hear about this interview again. Oh, I'm sure Haps just wants to toot his own horn. There you go.
I'll toot it for you. Toot toot.
Toot toot indeed, good sir. Toot toot indeed. Okay, so the things we were going to talk about on the show before the 40-minute detour that is now, no doubt, at least extended the show by 40 minutes. There's been a bunch of stuff that's popped up. The first one that's kind of a little bit more on the funnier side of things is the April Fool's jokes that came out. And they were really good this year. Really fucking good. So I'm gonna pull up both of them. One of them came in the form of the blog. So if we go to the dev blog, it should be there for Final Fantasy XIV. Yep, there it is. And it was that a Final Fantasy XIV manga was announced for a monthly Shoujo Gengan. And woo! I would like to point out that Gamer Escape translated these. Did you know that, Sly? Have you seen that? Let me I can pull up the Gamer Escape ones because I was pretty pleased with the translated ones. Yeah, there you go. We translated it. Okay, hold on. There you go. I letter manga for a living. This was nothing for me. Well, thanks, Fusion. Let's see. Let's grab that. And there we go. And these are the translated versions. Alphino and Alcé at home with their father Thancred and their mother Ishtola, and then of course Alcé, nervous, going to school, bumps into the hottest guy in school, Estinian. I love that it's Alice A going to Ishgard High. That's essentially what this is. Because and then this is my favorite one. This the one with Estinian, Amric, and Hoshfont. And then Alice A just chilling in the back. Senpai is in the back right there. I thought this was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Sly, I gotta ask you, how badly do you want the Final Fantasy 14?
So fucking bad. Dude, you have no idea.
You're ready to go. You're going full weep. I mean, there's even like a Robot Wars section here, and you've been playing Robot Wars lately. Look, see, they got the Empire. they got all them. They got Brute Justice. Estinian, look at all that.
The Black Tri-Stars.
Sly weeped out. Oh my god. Of course he did. I love when they make the relationship like story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love interest. See, Alphino has a love interest in his sale. I knew it. The only female in school, or in I4. Or no, the only female in 14. Isael's the only female. What? What are these?
Best one.
I like Yotsuyu. Yotsuyu is Amaric's older ex-girlfriend. Lise is Alice's love rival for Hoshfont. God damn it. Oh my god. It is I4, yeah. See, it's hard to tell because it's one looks like an I, but it's not. I figured it was a class number, but that's hard to tell. Tataru's the janitor. I like how both of us went to Tataru at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And Luis was the principal. Later to be revealed as her grandfather. Oh, Alice A. And it's based entirely around Alice A. And then it just has robots. Caius, captain of the Alexander. 17 years old, by the way. Minfilia is just lamenting over Alphino and Estinian's battle. Telegiata Leggy. That's honestly good shout out right there with Telegiata Leggy. Yeah. Right? Yeah, Caius is 17. He's like 50 in the actual game. He's so old.
Gaius suffers from the Morgan Freeman syndrome. He just looks old in anything.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman hasn't really aged in like 40 years. He's just old. He just stays the same. That's why I'm convinced Bruce Almighty is. I'm actually convinced Bruce Almighty is actually the real story of Morgan Freeman, and nobody believes it because like he's actually God. There you go. All right. Well, that was one of the 2 April Fool's jokes. Sly, high quality.
Yep.
I didn't think it got better than that, Sly.
But it did.
But it kind of did, because now I'm pulling up on YouTube the other Final Fantasy. Yes, we
Please
are.
Tell me we're watching.
We're watching.
Yes,
this. We're absolutely 100% watching this. So the other one, the Final Fantasy 14. So you guys might remember it started by accident. You guys might remember Final Fantasy 14 Go, which was the app that they made a little fake thing for. I think it was last year, right? They one-upped it a little bit with Omega, the new smart home assistant. You want to know why this is extra funny to me, Sly, before we start?
Why?
At the JP Fan Festival, I didn't see the person's actual face. Somebody was wearing an Omega mask over their face that had LEDs that would like light up and shit. That's, I think of this. I think of this guy now when I watch this. So you shut up, Sly, and we're going to let everyone enjoy the other April Fool's joke for Final Fantasy 14.
Wow. What is it?
Something very special.
Ooh, what'd you get, hun?
This is Omega.
Wow. What's...
Sorry, I forgot to move the video over. Alright, it's fixed. God, that is a horrible freeze frame right there. I picked a horrible freeze frame for this guy. I clicked the button, it just didn't go. Alright, let's try again.
Wow. What is it?
Something very special.
Ooh, what'd you get, hun?
This is Omega.
Wow. What's it for?
It's an ancient primal being of unimaginable power. It's traveled between dimensions for thousands of years. And it's a smart speaker, too. Omega, what was the score of the Warriors game last night?
Games are for the weak. Combat is the only true test of victory or defeat.
What?
114 to 98.
Hey, Omega, why do we have muscles?
Muscles are used by organic beings to run away from battle.
Why?
Because organic beings are weak and fearful.
Why?
Because they are inferior.
Why?
Omega, play romantic music.
Oh.
Calculating.
Omega, add executive presentation to my calendar for Friday at 11 a.m.
It is 99.9% likely for your presentation to fail. In order to protect you from that tragedy, I shall delete all copies of your presentation.
Undo! Undo! Are you
Omega, tell me a joke.
You were adopted.
That's so great.
Ha, 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 ha.
Omega is like part of the family.
Omega, turn off the TV.
Engaging wave cannon.
Omega by Square Enix.
Now that is a high quality April Fool's joke.
Boy, oh my God.
So I have a question for you, Slyh.
Yes.
Which one of these actually comes to existence?
The manga.
I think Omega's way more, because Omega's there's the technology to do that's already there. You just kind of have to build it out.
Or
I don't
put
think
it
he'd be
in,
as sassy in real life, but
or you can replace Alexa with Omega.
I mean, yeah, but that's not the same as
True.
like you need to go get the at the very least you then need to build the shell around it and then change Alexa.
Right.
To,
You have to do a little bit extra.
we just pissed anyone with speakers on. I'm sorry, because I have an Alexa too, and the same thing just happened. Said her name. What happens when you say her name? Yep. If you haven't played instead of playing Skyrim on Alexa, I can play it on Omega. If you haven't played that, by the way, it's real and it's awesome. It's like DOS. it's like D&D on DOS. Oh man.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know. I want Omega. Dude, if they actually made that, dude, it'd sell out instantly. No doubt.
I want the manga.
Of course you do. Everyone's in my chats telling me you just fucking weebed out as soon as you heard about the manga. He's proud of it. The good news is it's okay to weeb out. Just don't fucking weeb out. Okay? We've had this discussion before. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
So in the comment section or in the Twitch chat, please vote. Do you want the manga or do you want Omega?
Chicken tenders.
I'm so glad that they zoom in on the chicken tenders before doing it too.
Right.
Because anyone who missed JP FanFest, the English stream, Koji acknowledges that he was like, oh, we're going to be singing about chicken tenders later.
I was like, damn, what did we do? God damn it.
The only thing that they could have done more here was reference Starboard and Larboard. That was the only thing they could have done that they didn't do. So I did it in a tweet. I said, I need one for the Larboard side of my house and the Starboard.
So I'm guessing the new strat for Omega is just to bring a little Makote child and have it ask questions and it'll just shut itselp down.
Yeah, just bring it Chloe. Tell me some wondrous tales. He'll be like, oh, he won't be able to stop it. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. So which race are we willing to give up in 6.0 to get the manga or Omega?
Y'all really want to give up Banga for that?
Vianga? I would. No, we got to give up Vianga.
Yeah.
We've seen the concept art. That's it. Mikote. Give up one we already have. Fuck it. Just give up one we already have. Okay. So it's like really weird thing about April 1st. It's a day obviously known for fantastic jokes and some not so fantastic jokes.
Right.
You know what else April 1st is?
The beginning of the fiscal year?
That is correct. For Square Enix. It is the first day of their fiscal year. Meaning that amongst all the jokes, there were some real announcements that nobody wanted to take seriously. It's not the best day, but I don't think April Fool's is a big thing in Japan. I think I get the manga thing, but I don't think
it's more Americanized.
It's I don't think it's the beginning of their new fiscal year. So among the real announcements, one not 14 related. One of the project leads for Final Fantasy VII Remake has now been officially relabeled as co-director. Same title that Nomura has. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'm going to wait another 5 years to hear about 7 Remake, so whatever. Okay. We'll hold out on that.
Yeah.
More interestingly was the change of the 5th business division, the one that Naoki Yoshida himself is the head of. It was renamed the 3rd Development Division and has a new title, an unnamed title under its belt, a next gen title for the next generation.
Yazora!
There's not a chance Nomura would leave that to somebody else.
You sure about that? Are you sure? Are you 100% about that?
That exists solely because 15 exists. I am 100%. All it would lead to is another character in Kingdom Hearts that is making fun of Noctis. Or is literally Noctis again. That's it. So, with this, there's been a lot of questions about what this actually means. Because Yoshida's in charge of that division. And he is kind of busy with Final Fantasy XIV.
When is he not going to be?
Well, I guess when he decides he wants to pass the reins on to somebody else, which who knows when that would be. At minimum, we expect the 10-year mark is like the soonest point he would probably do that. Since when they made 2.0, they drafted out a 10-year plan, and then they were going to take it from there. But this isn't Yoshida's making a new game, as people might be interpreting it. But there's a lot of concerns about what it means for Final Fantasy XIV, because the exact quote from Yoshida says, following Final Fantasy XIV. So, Sly, I want to know, do you, and I already know what the probable answer is, do you think this impacts Final Fantasy XIV in any way?
The life of it?
Yeah. Following Final Fantasy XIV.
Right. He's basically saying there's an end to it. Well, not really an end, because, I wouldn't really classify it as an end, because, hell, y'all still are playing fucking 11, dude. So that shit don't end.
11 made an announcement. They're like, we've got something big planned in 3 years. It's the 20-year anniversary in 3 years. But they've started working on it now.
Right. Yeah, that shit don't end. So to say an end would be like really would be the wrong word, I guess. So whenever they want to move on to something new, let's just say it like that, which I don't think will be that long for us.
Sly, I don't know what you're saying to me right now. Do you think this impacts Final Fantasy XIV at all? Do you think this new 3rd business division and this statement about following Final Fantasy XIV, because this is something that's in development now, not waiting for the 10-year mark for Final Fantasy XIV?
Yes, it means that a lot of stuff is going to get delayed, because we know how hands-on Yoshi P is. So rather than like let someone else take over for the time being, which he's eventually going to have to do, but we know him, he doesn't want to do that. stuff would rather get delayed.
I don't think anything's going to change at all. He's
So-
not a producer or director on this title. He's the division lead. He's been the division lead for Final Fantasy XI for the past several years. He's not like, yeah, Dynamis, cool. Like, he's not the one he may have signed off on the idea and like said, okay, work on that, sure, it looks good. But he's not like, all right, where do we stand on our Dynamis Divergence development? Might ask for a deadline, but that's about it. Yeah, he's like, yeah, and Yoshi P is like is on the board of directors. That man wears so many hats, but I think deep down he's just producer and director for 14. I don't think this really does anything, but everyone's like, oh, I guess the end of 14's coming. Better start looking for the next thing.
No, I'm not freaking out that bad. I'm just saying like stuff will get delayed a little bit. I mean, you're giving him so much more to do. So, I mean, yeah, it might seem a little bit easier because of the managerial hat that he wears, but still, like, he's got to divert time to this shit. And 14.
I mean, but the question is how much time? Like, that's the thing. This is a very broad thing to think that this changes a huge dynamic, because it probably really doesn't. I still say that Yoshida one day should hopefully at the very least steps down from one of the two roles. He hasn't wanted to be a producer for quite some time. He's wanted to be a director, but not a producer. I would like to see him pass that role on, because I think that man works himself to death, and he could maybe use one less hat, but I don't think this changes literally anything. 3.5 months for patches, as it's always been. The team is still hiring, always looking for more people. I don't think it changes anything. He's gonna literally sign off on things, say yes. It has to go through him quality wise, and he's not sitting there he does for 14 because he's producer and director. He's not going to do that for these other projects. Not at the same time.
Yeah, of course. So that's where I was about to go. Like,
yeah, not at the same time. Maybe he moves on one day. Maybe at the 10-year mark he goes, no, I'm going to lead like my own single player title, producer, director, one of those two times. Maybe one day that happens, but that day is not today.
Crazier question. When that day comes, does he do it with Square Enix?
I think so. It's pretty common.
Think so?
Yeah, it's pretty common to stay at a company like that as long as they're not like inhibiting your vision or anything. Mm-hmm. I'd imagine he'd stay. Like, I'm sure if he had a vision and the company was just completely just stomped all over it, I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave in that case. But other than that, I mean, the company has placed a lot of trust and a lot of resources into Yoshida, and now even more. They clearly respect and trust him to the point where they want him to be in charge, and things he's in charge of generally do well.
Right.
So I think it makes perfect sense. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like Luminous pop up in there, because now they have Luminous in there. Maybe he has his own production thing and his own floor or something, you know. But I think Square Enix is where we'll see Yoshida for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
And I'd like it to stay that way. So I have another question for you, Sly. And this isn't really 14 related, but
okay,
I've got excitement.
All right.
I want to know if your mindset's in the same place as mine. Do we think this is Final Fantasy 16?
No.
Really? You don't think so?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Any particular reason you just don't think 16's like...
Yeah.
We know it's not Luminous. Some people have suggested 16 would be Luminous. Luminous has said they're working on a new IP, which is not 16.
Well, what are we thinking 16 is, first of all? Because are we going by the trailer, the engine trailer that we got a few months back?
No. Wait, engine trailer? That's not a few months. If you're talking about Agni. You're talking about Agni?
Not Agni.
Because Agni is what I want for 16. Ever since I saw Agni's philosophy, I've wanted that. I was like, make that
Not
a Final
Agni.
Fantasy.
The vampire type one.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Oh, yeah. No, because I guess it depends on how much decision making Yoshida has as the division leader. Because Yoshida, the reason why I'm clinging on to it being Final Fantasy 16 is because Yoshida said he wants to return to Final Fantasy to like a high fantasy setting. And I think it's been the last couple months he mentioned that. He said if he ever had the opportunity, that's what he would want to do, a high fantasy. Now, again, he's not a producer or director on this, but does he have a level of influence to make a decision like that? And if he does, I want to see that in 16. That's why I want it to be 16. There's nothing to indicate it. But it doesn't say it's a new IP. It just says it's, a title for the next generation. It's under the man who's in charge of 2 other Final Fantasies, even though they're the online ones. And that's the other question. I think this is a bigger no than it being 16. People thought maybe it's another MMO. And I'm like, I really don't think that's going to be the case. Yeah. I don't think he's been very clear. Like, it's pretty weird to have 3 MMOs on one company already. Maybe sometime way later down the line, but I don't think this is far enough down the line. That's it. I don't think they make another MMO until one of them's gone. And even then, Dragon Quest is Japan only. So even if they did if Dragon Quest was the one to go, they would probably just make another Japan only one. They probably wouldn't make another one, to be honest. I just think maybe it's got multiplayer, whatever it is. Like, maybe it has some sort of online functionality. Because I think that this division it has at least an experience in that regard.
Okay.
There's nothing to indicate that, though. That's just... that's not knowing the actual direction for the new title.
Right.
So who knows? I want it to be 16. Badly. I'm still surprised we never got the Square Enix MOBA. I know MOBAs aren't like super hype in Japan, but I'm still amazed we never got the legitimate, like, I'm playing Sora top lane MOBA. I'm Axel Jungle. I'm Terra mid.
Terra's a mid?
Yeah, Terra's a mid.
Wow.
King's an AD carry. Deuce is a support. There you go.
Wow.
I'm down for it. Seymour Jungle. Yeah, Hitman 80 carry. I don't think they own Hitman. I don't think they publish Hitman anymore. There you go. See, look, we've got plenty. It's all there. It's really all
content.
There. You just have to make it. Here, I'll produce and direct the Final Fantasy MOBA. It'll like crash and burn in like 8 months, but I'll do it. Just to say it happened, at the very least. Okay, so with that, a word about the halfway point of the show. Probably a little bit further, because I don't think we're going to take a whole nother hour for the rest of the show. But, Sly, you mind if I stop and thank our Patreon supporters?
Not at all. Go ahead.
Not at all. Oh, thank goodness. Imagine you said no. I'm tired of that. Okay. Anyway, we got to support our supporters. We got to shout them out, is what I meant to say. Over on Patreon. They've been helping us combat hashtag demonetize on YouTube for quite some time, especially in more recent times as it's made a bit of a resurgence. Not too much, but some funny resurgences that we've mentioned on the prior shows. We have our Patrons of Light first and foremost. We have Khuja Cross on Jenova and Kurenai Oni. I don't think I have new images for either of them. I think this one's the last one I got from Khuja. Hasn't sent me a new one yet. No problem at all with that. So thank you to Khuja. And then we have Kurenai. So I think this is the same one as last week with him chilling right before pulling Yojimbo in the new trial. Solid trial. Got all the rewards from it. Hoping that we get more Hildebrand trials in the expansion. And I think it's unavoidable. Just a question of will it be, without spoiling, familiar. If you know what I mean. So thank you to both of you for being the patrons of Light. We also have... I didn't even start reading the list yet, Sly. That's... They're getting ahead of themselves now, Sly.
Right.
It's not even funny anymore, guys. God. Anyway, I do need to grab an extra name on the list real quick. I haven't been too on top of this since getting back. Dude, I almost forgot to pay. I've been so not on top of things. I almost forgot to pay my rent this month.
No!
I came up from a coffee shop nearby, and I I had I was getting in the elevator. I was like, rent, because I'm like, today's the second. Like, just for no reason, I'm like, rent.
Rent.
There you go. All right, so we did have a few more people who have their names. I'm trying to make sure I pull up all the proper names right here, so that way I don't forget, because these are people who have asked me to change the name, and I had missed the original message. I'm going to get these ones done first. So these are some of our standard State of the Realm sponsors. So one of them we have is Yufu Hikenshi on Excalibur. So that's one of the new ones that I haven't added. I should probably type that in. I'll leave it up for later. Also, one of our other ones who I've been calling Ray the entire time is Serafina Edelise. That's another standard. And I think there's one more that's not on this list right here that I have. There you go. Batar Garl of Ultros. There you go. So those are three that I wanted to make sure I definitely didn't forget. And I just didn't want to rap God them for all of you because you're looking at me weird. And that's a fact. Then we have the rest of our standard sponsors, which I will rap God. We got Scumlord, Itsumi Amarillo of Gilgamesh, Ravik, Card Drakens from Famfrit, Sigurd Drake from Balmung, Edgefair on Ultros, Jericha, Emma, Zernik of Org 13, Krista Uzuki, Crazy Meter from Midgard, Raijin Ventinus from Cactar, Carol, Senshi, Shadow Link on the Tonberry server, Dom, Asukawake from Jenova, Limilla Nelhah of Midgard Summer, Serren the Fennel Family, Janhyua Yotsuyu, Kifca and the Great Eagles on Exodus, Aoshi from Kujata, Skia Symphonia from Ragnarok, Rynoet Westaus The Purple Warrior, Eadric Redsteele on Exodus, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus FC from Zodiark, Sour Cream and Tribes from Jenova, Rynoet Chikara, Goetia Valefar of Siren, Phoenix Down FC on Goblin, and Serren from Zodiark. We also have our elite State of the Realm sponsors. We have Vapatiama from Diablo, Shadow Aria of Brynhilder, Zaravira of Coral, Alchemy, Shinka, Casual Heroes FC on Midgard Summer, Tatachitaka on Hyperion, Kana Azuki from Jenova, U-Star on Coral, Sothal, Sarah Frost from Behemoth, Holy Tabasco, Crass 015, Shundi FC on Ultras, Kat Kazuma, Ignis Fairgun from Excalibur, Blessed Famfrit, Not Quarters from Excalibur, Corvus Moonscar, Private Mikey, Nana Kirisami, Rudy Rudiger, Kill Hackman, Roll Jr., and Kiltastic Jones. Thank you to all
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for combating hashtag demonetized.
People want me to say it faster. Damn. That's a big ask. I don't want to. How about that? How about that? I don't want to.
How about that?
There you go.
That's what I said.
So the next thing to talk about was something I was a little excited for earlier today. I had anticipated us approaching this topic a little bit differently before checking some sources. I was going to make a YouTube video and realized that's dumb. So on the front page of Reddit today, I couldn't help but notice there was a topic that read Final Fantasy XIV given an age rating in Brazil, specifically for the Shadowbringers expansion. Now, that's for the Xbox One. So, Sly, the good news is you don't have to care that much about this topic, because at the start of the show,
I don't to begin with.
Wow. Okay. Luckily, we don't actually have to care that much about this topic, because that same website lists Heavensward as an Xbox. It gave an age rating to Heavensward on Xbox 360. So, in other words, nothing they do is of consequence. Who knows? Maybe it is coming to Xbox, but I'm not going to rely on this source to be the one to tell. It's like, come on, you don't want our game to get bigger by being available on more platforms.
That's not the issue.
Okay.
It will get bigger
Diggity.
on other platforms. How you doing?
There you go.
On other platforms other than Xbox.
What, on the fucking Google one?
Actually, yes. Yes, probably. Jesus.
It's gonna listen. Yeah, Linux, Stadia, and the Switch XL. There you go. Are those the other platforms you were referring to? Specifically, it's Switch XL exclusive. not the bitch ass Switch.
Not the normal Switch. Not the normal Switch, no.
No, whatever that
That's your
super
bitch-ass
powered
Switch.
one they're making is. It's gotta be, if it's gonna be on Switch, it's gotta be exclusive to that one. Oh, and then it put it on the Stadia. Oh man. I mean, I guess you kind of hit the point of this is like, are we still really waiting for Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox? It's been 6 years.
No, nobody is. Because it's honestly, I've said this before, I'll say it again. The Xbox is not an RPG console. It is not an MMO.
Dude, I'm not even convinced it's a console anymore.
Pretty much. It's
literally, oh, you have enough money for a medium power PC or the Xbox One. One of these will get you a little further.
Right.
You know, it's just, dude.
Just
Microsoft has given up on it so much.
People use to watch Netflix.
Dude, Microsoft has given up on it so much. They just put it on Switch. Like, fuck it. Here's Xbox Live on Switch. Nobody cares about it on Xbox anymore. Might as well put it on the console everyone's buying. And to shove it in Sony's face. I guess that's probably the other reason for it.
Yeah, I still use my Xbox to watch TV. Yeah, I use it for Netflix and Hulu, and use it for games.
I mean, to be fair, at E3, I remember it all being all about sports.
All about games, all about sports.
They even put Halo on Steam. That was the ultimate, all right, we give up. They didn't even put it on the Windows Live store. They put it on Steam. Like, I would at least have understood if they're like, well, it's coming to PC on Windows, whatever the fucking Microsoft store is.
See, back in the days, I used to call Xbox the shooty shoots console. Now I can just call it a console? Question mark?
It had the DMC5 demo. I don't think you want to talk about that. And BDO. I don't think we want to use those last two as examples.
Yeah.
And the first one is available on PS4 also. So. And PC. Fuck it. It's like maximum, just fuck it. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I totally want it to come to Xbox. Why not? Because it could.
Well, it could. But it's not, okay, what's going to happen is people will try it on Xbox. People will try it. They will get the 30 free days. They'll try it. There'll be a little bit of money for Square Enix, and then it'll fall off because people want to play shooty shoots. Yeah. Or they just watch Netflix.
See, Avelia says it best. The question isn't why. The question is why now? Like, at this point, it's kind of run its course, the concept.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. I'm of the opinion that as long as it's not inhibiting the development of the game, which if it did, sure, then don't cut that shit out. Get released on the PS5. We're expecting that announcement for that probably at E3 this year, the PS5.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I am. I mean, at this point, it's been rumored to death. So it's all but confirmed. And so, what's it called? But why not? Well, I'm sorry. Around E3 timing. I forgot Sony's not going to be at E3 this year. I forgot they pulled out after last year.
Mm-hmm. Racing.
There you go. So, yes, around E3. Around E3 timing. Whenever Sony's doing their own personal thing that they're doing, that they do.
Oh, God. No.
And people have, and Hammer also cited that, maybe they're doing those data center splits because they're expecting a surge of Xbox players. We need to make room for all 12 of them.
I'm glad you made the joke and not me.
Listen, we needed the data center splits for it. Okay. Listen, but it doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to do with the data center split. It's not,
right.
Like
nothing at all.
All this is Brazil, this specific part, I guess this specific piece of their age rating system, is just irrelevant to us because it's already proven to just rate stuff that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. Nothing. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other than that, Sly, I think we the only other things we had was like to talk about Hatching Tide, which we haven't talked about a fucking seasonal event on the show.
In all fairness, we haven't talked about a seasonal in a while. You know why? Because we haven't done them. What's the last seasonal you did, Happy? Exactly. Thank you very much for your...
I mean, I went to Eorzea Cafe and they had Little Ladies Day as a theme there, but I didn't get anything off that menu. So even in fucking Eorzea Cafe, I didn't do the goddamn seasonal event.
Wow.
It was all like beverages. I didn't want that. I was like, I want these.
You didn't want a little ladies' day beverage?
I didn't really like what they were offering. I like the other the things on the regular.
What was it?
I don't fucking remember. I couldn't read it. I had someone tell me what it was, and I said, something else. I don't know what the fuck it was. I can't read it. That's the truth. Can't speak, can't read. I felt pretty dumb. Like, I am useless here. The only reason why we're even bringing up Hatching Tide, 2 reasons. One, the show's shorter today, so fuck it. 2, it's the truth. I'm just being honest. 2 is because we kind of just don't talk about seasonal events, and that's a topic of its own.
Unless it's a really good seasonal event. And I can't remember the last time we had a good seasonal event.
And that's the problem is that we haven't really. I mean, we've had some okay. We had we had the DDR one not too long ago.
Yep, and that was for Christmas. The Christmas
believe
season.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Osu for babies. Osu with 40 buttons, and that's it. Oh, we had the jump. Yeah, that was the last one I did. The jumping puzzle. That was the last. I didn't even do the Osu one. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, 40 like total presses in all of the season. Like the max combo was like 40. Is what I meant. Are we
gonna count the Rising as a seasonal event? Because that's kind of annual. Like, it's not really.
I mean, it is. No, it's seasonal. It's the same time every. It's kind of like how I would consider the Gold Saucer one that happens early summer as seasonal.
It's more like a yearly celebration. I wouldn't call it a seasonal. It's more like a yearly celebration of 14 itself. Not like
The Rising was where we waited 3 hours for that NPC to spawn because they didn't tell us that he was he was only gonna be around during certain times. Yeah, and then we did 5 fates and left. It was 1.0. Yeah, it was 1.0. It was also Cheap Dungeon from years ago is still one of the best.
Yeah, Cheap Dungeon was really good from the Rising.
Yeah, and that's where they gave the Nail Van Darnus earrings or Nail Deus the Raven earrings. Yep, stolen from the Legacy players. I didn't have it. I didn't care about that fight when I was Legacy. I was like, you can't get me to play this game anymore. I don't care. Remake it and I'll be back 6 years down the line. Yeah, so that's kind of the whole point is seasonal events in 14, they're hit or miss.
They're hit or miss, yeah, and you took the words right out of my mouth. The best one I still think is the All Saints Wake when they first introduced the Hawk Manor little, I guess, haunted mansion.
Yeah, the Haunted Mansion. I think that's what it's actually just straight up called, the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that was the first seasonal event I thought they did a good job, like an above average job on, other than the Rising, right, which they had already had some, like I remember the very first Rising had the little bugs from Coil, and they were supposed to represent RMT. No matter how many we squashed, they just keep coming back. That was very on the nose, that one right there. But then I think if they've done some things right, like Valentine's Day, I remember last year was the one where you had the two people maze. You had to help each other solve it without.
Oh, I didn't do the maze. The last one I did
was really good.
The last one I did was the tarot card one. I thought that was pretty good.
Well, so the maze one, I spent. They did that. They did the maze again this year. I didn't do it because fuck it. But it's like they did the maze again this year also. That one is really good. But now we're seeing a pattern where when people say they really like a part of a seasonal event, they're just like, we'll just do that every year. Fuck it. Like they're like, we'll do this other thing, but make it only this, and then you have the maze, which people can do again. And I don't know that I like that. I like that they come back, the same thing, but I don't want the same, just because I liked it once doesn't mean I want the same thing every year. Now, that's what I was going to talk about, Sada, because the Hatching Tide was probably the first one where I went, wow, they really went like a little bit above and beyond with it, other than the Halloween. Halloween was the most impressive. But for those who don't remember, the original Hatching Tide, they had kind of the stuff we were already used to, like the fate and the actual quest, but they hid Spriggans that would respawn every 2 hours that dropped eggs that could be turned into like a random item from the event and like some rarer items. I like that shit. I like the egg hunt, like the actual full-on Eorzean egg hunt. It was a little too Final Fantasy XI for me in some ways, because it was legit like, you know, camp for these Spriggans and type down time of death and compete against the near. It's a little too much 11 for me, but I still liked that whole concept of the worldwide egg hunt that they did. They didn't even advertise it. I don't remember them mentioning it anywhere. I just remember finding a Spriggan in Korthus. I want that. I like that kind of stuff. It reminds me, Final Fantasy XI actually has some pretty interesting seasonal events at times.
I, on the other hand, want to kind of separate ourselves from 11. You know?
I do, but I would like, I don't know. I just want more creativity, I guess is what I'm saying in the seasonal events. Because I don't care about, even if the quest line is really funny, like the Rangers were, I still like, I want it to be something that I log in and do. When I think of a really good seasonal event, I think of Headless Horseman from World of Warcraft, or I think of something hilarious like the
okay. Explain the Headless Horseman.
So basically, in one of the dungeons, they let you queue into an alternate version of the dungeon, kind of like how we do with Hawk Manor. And there's a max level boss in there that you have to defeat like you would any other dungeon boss, and he can drop it. He can drop his horse as a mount. Brewfest is another good example. Yeah, Brewfest is something similar. Basically, like carve out an area of a dungeon and turn it into something for the event. I like that. That's and even when they did that over and over again, because the rewards were kind of on the rarer side, every year if I didn't have the mount, I felt a little bit incentivized to go back and try another year for the mount, or to try on another character or anything like that.
Right.
I also think back to some of the more hilarious ones from 11. There was one where outside of each main town, a bull would spawn. And when the bull hit you, it had a chance of teleporting you to another zone. And
like, so it would just knock you into another zone.
It literally would knock you into another zone.
Wow.
And in order to get the reward for it, you needed to be the one who killed it. So when you hit it and it turned around and knocked you into another zone, you had to go back to the zone with the bull to try and be the one who landed. Obviously, I don't want it to be to that degree, but it was pretty fucking hilarious.
Mm.
What's another one? 11 had one where they teleport you to a high-level area, but give you sneak and invis on a limited time to, like, figure out where you needed to go and then to complete it. Dark Moon Fair, another great example. I see more creativity with other games' seasonal events. Oh my god, the jumping clock tower in Guild Wars. That's a notorious one for anyone who's played Guild Wars and had to jump up the fucking clock tower. Oh my god. I did the fucking jump puzzle for Summer Fair. Nothing compared to the clock tower. Dark Moon Fair isn't seasonal, it's once a month. That's a good point, but still. Oh my god. It's just so many things. I want more. I want more creativity, Sly. I know it's a more development time, but I want more creativity in our seasonal events.
I think we'll get it.
Do you? I mean, it's been almost 6 years, and like we've seen in like bits of it, like the Valentine's Maze and the Rising. Usually, I say the Rising is where they get the most creative, like individually per year.
Right.
Cheap Dungeon to this day is still a fucking fantastic thing that has come to existence.
But I don't think they really set that many assets towards things like this.
That's what I think. And I wouldn't mind if they did, if it meant something that consumed more than 30 minutes of my time. Like something that actually felt seasonal. Like I wasn't just like, oh, cool, and then it's done. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something that they are missing out on. If somebody knows a seasonal event's coming up, and they know that they have these like, oh man, you know, last year they did this crazy thing, you know, maybe this year they can return to that and do something different. People might get a little more excited for them. Yeah, they sent us to GM jail 1 year. Morty on jail. Yeah. So I don't know. That's how I feel personally. The rewards from the Hatching Tide at least look pretty good. It's like a coat, some legs on girls. It's shorts, and then the boots I think are like leggings or something, like thigh high leggings and whatnot. And then there's some housing items in there. They look better than I think. You know what? If anything's better than that stupid Tonberry knife. That thing upsets me. I didn't even do the event because I was like, why would I put in the effort to get this Tonberry knife, the 20 minutes of effort to get a Tonberry knife as an offhand for Culinarian, which you can only see during offhand crafts. Having just played some Devil May Cry, I can tell you that is not motivating me.
Wait, you're doing Bloody Palace, aren't you?
Oh no, I did it with all 3 characters in like 7 hours.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I went pretty ham. All I've learned is that when the good doctor's in town, the meteors come out to play.
Well then.
Yeah, and hopefully that outfit is also a hoodie. You can't even glam it. You can't even glam the Tonberry knife. It was so weird. Oh man, I want more creativity, Sly. Okay,
and I think we're gonna get it. I honestly think we're gonna get it.
Not on seasonal events. Maybe the Rising. That's it. At least I have the gold saucer thing to look forward to.
Great.
I already have the 2 million mount. We've got the rumors going around about the means of unlocking the Regalia.
Mm-hmm.
That it'll be 200,000 MGP. And by rumors, I mean data mining. I can't avoid it. It pops up in my stream literally every day. So that's what people are saying. I don't know what else to take of that. Oh, another April Fool's joke. Did you see what the Reddit Discord did as an April Fool's joke?
Let me go to the Reddit Discord.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's still going to be there. They did some asset swapping with some of the stuff we have in game and teased finding Beastmaster in the game files. It looked so jank. It was very obvious that it was the April Fool's joke, but I appreciated the effort. You know how many people said, "Oh, dude, this just got leaked." I'm like, it's an April Fool's joke, and they're like,
so fucking dejected. But Beastmaster, no.
And then when I started doing it, I was like, well, the new Mo were the only ones who were allowed to be Beastmasters in Tactic Advance, and they're going to be a new they're going to be a new Beast Shrine.
Stop it. Stop. Stop.
You gotta further the
objective. No, you don't. You stop. Just no. God.
They just model swap the Chocobo. Your pet Chocobo? Yeah. They just model swap the Chocobo. It was pretty fucking funny. I appreciated the effort that they went to for that. It was so obviously fake that even like Reddit itself wouldn't allow it to stay on the front page from the moment it was new to the moment it had 200 comments. I never saw it on the front page. They're like, nope, push it down, push it down, get it. All right. Anyway, with that, I don't think there's anything else for us to talk about, Sly.
No, there is not.
Not unless there's something else you want to talk about.
No, I think we pretty much covered everything. Light news week, we covered the interview you did. Kind of stroked your ego a bit.
Hey. Sure did.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I can just lay down and fall asleep.
Yeah, boy, was it good for you? How it was good for me?
Yep.
There
you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, move on. Stop making noises. Stop smiling and stop making noises and move on. You're overstaying your welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Audio only listeners, you don't want this. You don't want this.
I don't.
I'm just going to start doing Bane impressions into this mug to stop you.
Oh, yes. I'm wondering what to break first. Your spirit or your body?
There you go. That breaks the silence.
Yeah, that body, though.
Oh, no. There you go. Aloha, save me. He's right here. So, okay. So, regardless, moving on. Unless there's something else you want to talk about, we can wrap up the show.
Nope, we're good.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, for spending a very odd hour and a half of your week on this. Next week is our 4.5 Erzivia. Just in time for Sly and I to forget everything.
Everything.
Or to remember it, but not remember exactly the question Ethis asks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Be more specific. Nope. Pass.
Yeah. I'm going to send Ethis a reminder that it is. We talked about it on last week's show. I want to make sure he remembers because normally he tries to gather some questions from you guys. So I want to, if he's looking to do that, I want to make sure he absolutely remembers. 2 weeks from now, I announced this on pre-show, but we are going to be having our annual Mr. Byrne episode.
Yeah, boy.
Two episodes from now. He was one of a couple guests I asked for this week's show. He wasn't able to do it. Too short notice. Literally with only a few days to actually ask. So he said another show, and I said 2 weeks from now, and he said sure. So Stake of the Realm will be in 2 weeks. That also happens to be the day of the Final Fantasy 14 and 15 collab, which will be the topic for that week's show. And then at that point, we're on wait duty for Media Tour, Live Letter, pretty much anything at all. So we'll probably have to do some shows about some ambiguous stuff, maybe interviews or anything that comes out over the next several weeks.
Yep.
Alrighty then. So with that, thank you everyone for watching this episode of State of the Realm. So, Sly, why don't you tell them what you've been up to, where they can find you, and all that good shit.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox, Instagram, Slyakagreyfox, Twitter at Slythefox, youtube.com/thevelvetroom. I finished Sekiro finally, thank God. So now we're back on to Super Robot Wars. The schedule for the month of April is completed in both game content and anime. It's a little bit more involved anime-wise. We got a lot going on anime-wise. So we do anime nights every Monday through Thursday, so you are more than welcome to join. Anybody's welcome if you're about the anime.
I'm assuming that's through Discord.
That is through Discord.
If you want to find Sly's Discord, if you're on YouTube, go to the thing with his Twitch at the bottom and type exclamation mark. Is yours exclamation mark Discord in your Twitch chat? There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Want to make sure they know exactly where to find it, Sly.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to weep out with you over Final Fantasy 14 mangas.
One day in Super Robot Wars Y.
As in, why the fuck did we do this?
Habs, where can they find you? God damn it.
You can find me, Mr. Happy1227, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I too have a Discord that after getting a question about on Twitter, I realized I should probably start including in more things and mentioning in more places because it's been a Discord we've had for a pretty long time that has like mobile game section, Final Fantasy 14, general Final Fantasy, general gaming. The sub-only channel where they just spam one emote and I don't know why. So there's just, yeah, it's all sorts of things like that. Month of April. For me, I don't know yet. I'm playing Chocobo Mystery Dungeon right now. We have the 14-15 collab. And other than that, I know there's some movie releases this month. That's not really related to the stream. And so I don't actually know 100% what the plan is for April. I'm not as organized as Sly here. I just kind of go with the flow. I did start leveling a character on the JP data centers, on Gaia in particular. And Haru bought me job skip and story skip potion when I was trying to go through the main story normal. He just sends me a message and he's like, hey, this is my gift for you. Thank you for coming to Tiamat. And I was like, oh, I wonder what he got me. I put the first item in and I was like, somebody sends you 2 gift codes. There's really only one thing it can collectively be. And we all know it's a job skip and a story skip. I don't buy these things for myself. Other people end up just being like, no, I can't. Please. Be like the rest of us. I can't watch you do this. Okay. So with that, we're gonna wrap things up. Sly, move on over into a short post show, and then I guess dinner. That's what's on the menu. That's what's on the menu for me at the very least.
Yeah, I gotta make dinner.
All right. Cool. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next week for Erzivia 4.5 and 4.56 edition, and we will see you then. Until then, bye bye.
Have a great week.